I'm the director of the MA program in Human Rights and the Arts, which is at Bard College in Annandale, New York. It is housed in the Osun Center for Human Rights and the Arts. So the MA program is one of several components of the activities of the Center for Human Rights and the Arts. Allow me to focus my time on explaining a little bit about the program and our approach to it, and what does it mean to say human rights and the arts. First of all, this is a 2-year residential program. So most students require 2 years to complete the program, and they have to be at Bard College. It is in person. It is an interdisciplinary program in the sense that the students and the faculty have a wide range of disciplinary training and interests. As I will explain in a little bit, we really look at the intersection of human rights and the arts. And by the intersection of human rights and the arts, I'll simply say that we feel, as a group of people that have come and created this center, that there are two simultaneous developments happening. On the one hand, human rights activists and advocates in their political work and their campaign work and their mobilization work are increasingly trying to think critically about the role of the arts in human rights education, in human rights advocacy, in knowledge production and dissemination. At the same time, there is a parallel movement, if you will, where people whose primary activity is artistic practices are trying to think more critically about how to make their work either more politically relevant or more politically impactful. So in some sense, the MA program in the Center for Human Rights and the Arts is really a space to bring together people who are interested in thinking about one or both of these developments, and to create the necessary conditions to productively think through, further develop, and experiment with these ideas. Let me briefly say here that we do not simply use a legal technical definition of human rights, but that we use human rights as a broader catchphrase for social justice, for social change. We also have a lot of space in the program to think critically about whether human rights is the most appropriate framework for every struggle for social justice or social change, something that is a robust discussion in our program. At the same time, our definition for the arts is quite broad, with people who are interested in photography, in video, in graphic design, in architecture, in written arts, dance, music. And so you could see that both at the level of the human rights and the kind of case studies, if you will, as well as at the level of the arts, there is a really broad array of interests and practices. Let me tell you a little bit about our students, which I think is the most important thing. We are currently recruiting our third cohort. So this is the third year we are doing applications. Applications are now open. They are due January 6th. The types of students that we have primarily attracted are, one, people whose primary practice is art, who identify themselves as artists and find themselves primarily in the art world. However, we don't only cater to art students. We have several students in our program that self-identify as activists or organizers or advocates in the case of some of the people who have legal training. These are people who might have artistic inclinations or practices, but also who might not. So you don't have to be an artist to be in this MA program. You just have to be interested in the intersection of human rights and the arts. We have a third group of students that I would categorize as researchers, in the sense that they're not practicing artists, and neither are they advocates, activists, or political organizers, but they're really interested in researching the role of artists or researching the role of activists and producing knowledge on that intersection. Now, obviously, you could be all three of these things. You can only be one of these things. You could be any combination of these things. But this is the broad array of students that we have in our program. I think the most innovative part of the program is that the capstone project can be a traditional written academic thesis, or it could be an artistic work in the form of installation, a video or performance. But in either case, it has to be based on original research. It has to be grounded in a particular community, geography, locale. It has to be theoretically informed, methodologically informed, and you get to work with an advisor and an additional 2 people on what we call the thesis committee for a year-long process in your second year as you develop that project and work with it and receive funding to be able to research and produce it. I'll stop here because we're limited on time, and I welcome any and all questions that you might have, and I'll insert the link to the program right in the chat. Thank you.